It's now been over 100 days since the writer's strike has begun. It's probably somewhere around 105 days, and that means this is the longest one in my life that has occurred. The big point to be made is one of the negotiating topics that they've had recently is they want to have 6 to 12 writers in a writer's room for a television show. That's not exactly a smart idea. Mainly, it's part of that whole too many cooks in the kitchen kind of situation. More writers does not actually mean better writing, uh, just better writers. And trying to sit there and say, we need more people, that's not really always going to work. Sometimes some of the best shows are written by one person. And to sit here and demand that, I don't see that one working very good. Um, and then the second topic I had for today is about Rachel Zegler. Um, so she is the new Snow White, and she's had quite a few controversies pop up over the last couple of weeks, mainly because she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut and she's digging a hole for herself. All these videos have surfaced of things that she said in the past, how she's acted about the movie. Apparently, she hated the original Snow White, but now she's playing Snow White. Also, add in several other factors. You have the film looking absolutely terrible, them wanting to put modern politics into a classic story, uh, and just the fact that Rachel Zegler has spouted a whole lot of nonsense on social media, which is now blowing up because as there is no actors going out and doing press or anything, there's nothing else to distract people from things that people have said in the past. So they can dig through people's past tweets or anything else. And, well, here's the thing. Apparently, Rachel Zegler hated the original Snow White. Um, that it scared her. She didn't like the ride. She thinks that she deserves to be paid for every second that her film is streamed, which you're paid up front and you get residuals. The exact amount is negotiated in your contract. Um, if you don't negotiate for a decent price, then you're not going to get a decent wage. But to jump into the whole idea of changing the original Snow White, what's important to note is that the original Snow White is what saved Disney. It was the first full length animated film. It literally was groundbreaking for animation. You had the fact that it saved Disney's company, that it's a classic story, even if you try to put your modern spin onto it. The problem is your modern spin is going to be forgotten in less than a month, and the classic is still going to be there. Um, you have the fact that it literally cartoons and animation might not be in the place that it is without Snow White. So, irregardless of whether you like the film or not, the historical fact of what it did for culture and for the technology, you can't just sit there and badmouth it on that. And trying to put your modern spin onto a classic film is going to crash and burn. Um, Little Mermaid did not make its budget back in the theaters. Now, digital sales and all that might help it hit break even, might make it past that point, but it's not going to help it. Not in the long run. And the fact is, there are so many people who don't even want to go see this new Snow White because of all the nonsense surrounding her. You've got the terrible way that it looks. I mean, they got rid of the seven dwarves, which the dwarves are magical, creatures from Viking mythology, and they're all over Europe of bearded little people, but they aren't, actual real life people who suffer from dwarfism. Dwarfism was a term coined because of the mythological creatures. And that's why, they're called dwarves now. But to sit there and have them removed, so now you've got six regular sized people and one who is actual dwarf, and they all look like homeless people from Portland. That's not really going to work out. And you're going to sit here and act like your film is going to be some feminist heroic message. I don't think the movie's going to do well because a lot of this stuff people are getting completely over. If Rachel Zegler comes out and apologizes for some of the things she said in the past, I don't even know if that's going to be enough. The point is, it's not even really all just her fault. It's probably the people around her telling her things. She's like not even 22 years old, has barely had any life experience at all. This might be the first time that she's had negative reactions from people. I don't know. But that's not going to. It's a harsh way to learn about the real world. People don't always care about your feelings. Sometimes facts are more important. And that's just that. Well, anyways, have a good day.